Hello, my name's Tom Sims and I work in the HR department here at the Department for Transport. And I'm really excited and thrilled to hear that you're considering a career with us. This session today, Success Profiles 102, will hopefully prepare you for some of what you may be assessed against at interview in terms of the Success Profiles framework. In particular, we're going to look at the experience and the technical elements of Success Profiles. As a candidate, the most daunting experience can be going for an interview. Questions will be flying around our head in terms of what will be asked, what do I need to prepare, how do I answer these questions? Hopefully, through this session, we'll be able to really demystify those interviews for you, in particular the elements of experience and technical, to really enable you as a candidate to prepare fully, so when you come to interview, you can really give the best reflection of yourself and give yourself the best chance of securing that dream role. The session today should take no longer than 20 to 25 minutes, and we'll go through the differing elements of experience and technical and what it is we're looking for, how to prepare, how to answer those questions that you may be asked, and really give you a fuller understanding to prepare to come to interview and give the best reflection of yourself. And as I said, secure that dream opportunity. In today's session, we'll cover off an overview of the success profiles. We'll give an introduction in particular to the experience and technical elements. We'll go through how to approach the experience and technical questions. We'll show how they're scored. Go through some preparation tips for the interview. And we'll also do some dummy questions just to show how they look and to give you some ideas around how to prepare for those questions. Our objectives for today's session: to introduce the Success Profiles recruitment framework, elements, experience and technical from your perspective as a candidate. Explain how it's used in recruitment and selection. Our objectives: to develop your confidence in understanding each of the Success Profiles elements, to build capability in preparing for interviews, and for you to understand how we score those elements of Success Profiles. Success Profiles are split into the five areas that you see on the wheel in front of you. Experience, that we're going to focus on in today's session, is all around our knowledge and our mastery of a subject. And technical is linked to our professional frameworks. So really how the technical work that we do ties into the wider civil service frameworks. Ability, strengths and behaviours are other elements of the Success Profiles framework. Ability is our aptitude to perform tasks at certain grades or certain job roles. Strengths assesses our future potential, whilst behaviours actually test our behaviours in approaching roles and tasks within our work. Our table in front of us shows how Success Profiles can be measured. Now, experience and technical could be assessed at either SIFT or at interview, as you'll see on the table in front. Now, very, very similar in terms of their approach. So technical can be assessed through the application form, CV and statement of suitability, expression of interest for our internal campaigns, telephone and video interviews if that's been adopted as a first stage SIFT method, and exactly the same for experience. Now, typically you'll see experience through the form of a CV and a personal statement at SIFT. Assessment of these can be conducted at interview when we look at experience through an interview, a presentation, or an assessment centre. Technical, slightly different. If you're applying for a role in the policy profession, that may actually be assessed through a written exercise, whereby we may test your drafting skills. Project delivery, you may be asked to conduct an exercise, for example, where you create a project plan. Every role profile that you apply for will detail the elements of the technical frameworks and will also link through to those technical frameworks. So if you are looking at a role profile, please refer to those technical frameworks to really understand what's going to be assessed, how it's going to be assessed, and what we're looking for you to demonstrate as a candidate. So let's start by looking at experience. So in assessing experience, what we're looking for is the knowledge or the mastery of an activity or subject gained through either being involved or having an exposure to it. It's usually explicitly related to the job role. It can be transferable from another related context, and it's not the same as time served. So we're not interested in how long you've done something for, how long your experience has been. What we're looking for is your experience in a particular field and the relevance to the role that you're applying for. So please never think that you haven't got the relevant time served. We're looking for your experience and how that translates into the job role that you're applying for. When we interview experience, we're looking for evidence of experience in particular areas or areas. That might be proven track record of success in leadership or complex transaction negotiations. Bear in mind my earlier point where I said we're not looking for time served. We're not saying to have 5+ years of success in leadership. We're absolutely not asking for that. We're just asking for proven track record of success in leadership. Now, that may be for a very short period of time, that may be for quite a long period of time, but we're looking for the track record of success. So where can you demonstrate your experience and your successes in leadership roles? That's what we're looking for you to demonstrate. Example questions could be, how would your colleagues describe your leadership style? How would you know? How would you structure a training session for complex transaction colleagues on supplier negotiation? What we're asking for there is for you to really translate your experience into your response to that question and demonstrate. So you might have had experience on the first question where you may have done 360 feedback, for example. So you've gone out to your colleagues for direct feedback on your leadership style. So really bringing in that experience from your previous roles or from previous experiences outside of your career and really applying that to the question that's being asked. Probing, repeating and scoring is the same as behaviour-based questions. And what that means is you may be probed. You may be asked for additional information. That's absolutely fine if you are. It's giving you more of a platform to expand and elaborate more on your answers. Never be afraid to ask the interviewer to repeat or rephrase the question. The interview is just about your opportunity to feel comfortable and to have that opportunity to tell us all about your experience. So never feel afraid to ask a question to be repeated or rephrased if that helps you. And the scoring we'll cover off in later slides. Let's move on to technical. And as I said, technical is the demonstration of specific professional skills, knowledge or qualifications. They're defined by each of the professions, and further available reading is available on the gov.uk website around civil service professions. And examples of this may be lawyers or finance professionals who may require specific legal or finance qualifications and work experience relevant to practicing within those fields. When we interview for technical skills, we're looking for evidence of knowledge or skills in particular domains. Context is highly important, so unlike behaviours or strengths-based assessment, and recent use of skills is important. When we interview technical skills, it'll normally be designed and assessed by subject matter experts from the business or professional area. Example questions of this could be, for example, in the HR profession, what is the Equality Act and how would you apply it in recruitment? Probing, repeating and scoring is the same as behaviour-based and also the experience slides that we just covered. In scoring, experience and technical and also behaviours, which is covered in other sessions, we score these responses on a 1 to 7 scoring basis. 1 being not demonstrated, 4 being acceptable demonstration, and 7 being outstanding demonstration. When scored a 1, we're saying that there's been no positive evidence and or substantial negative evidence demonstrated towards the indicators on that question. 4, adequate positive evidence and any negative evidence would not cause concern. And 4 is our typical pass mark for all of these questions. 7 is outstanding demonstration. So the evidence provided wholly exceeds the expectation at this level. So please, in preparing for your interview, consider the role profile, the success factors contained within that role profile, and really understand what it is we're looking for. Tailor your examples to that role profile, because that's what we're going to assess against. Let's have a go. So the first question that we have now is describe a time when you had to win the trust of your team and lead through a challenging situation. Question 2 is describe a project plan you've developed and used to keep the team on track. So first of all, have a think about where you think these questions fall into, be it experience or technical. Take some time just to consider that, and then we'll move on to how to prepare and how to answer these questions. So, question 1 is an experience question. So describe a time when you had to win the trust of your team and lead through a challenging situation. Now, in preparing for your interview, you'll have considered the role profile. And I'm imagining here that the experience points would largely be around leading teams through potentially periods of change or through uncertain times or scenarios. So in answering this question, you really want to give as much context as you can to the interviewer. An example of that may be, in fact, there's actually a really strong example that I can give of when I've had to win the trust of my team and lead through a challenging situation. I took on a new leadership role where the team unfortunately were disengaged in the work that they were undertaking and had actually fallen behind on some key project deadlines. It was really important that when I took the team over, I took the time to get to know the team and get to know what it was that was concerning them, to rebuild their trust. It was really important for me to understand their concerns. And actually, the more I got to know the team, I actually found out that there was common themes in those concerns. And it was little things that had probably become bigger things than they actually were. So what I did was I pulled the team together following the one-to-one discussions, and we had a hold the floor, an open forum discussion around their concerns. And I invited feedback from the team around what they thought they could do and what we could do as a team to put it right. Now, for me, what was really important is that the team felt empowered and they felt valued. I'm not a leader who likes to micromanage my teams. I'm a leader that wants to empower my team and them to feel that they want to come to work on a daily basis. I took into account all of their suggestions. And what it actually gave me was a sense that the team did care. The team really didn't want to be falling behind on deadlines. And we agreed to pull together and move forward as one team. And we actually turned it around from trending towards coming in 6 weeks after the deadline. We came in 2 days before the deadline was due. The team were engaged, they were motivated. We all decided to celebrate as a team one lunchtime. And the team ever since that have always worked really hard towards achieving our objectives. So yeah, that for me is a really strong example of when I've had to win the trust of my team and lead through a challenging situation. Consider that response. How do you think that measures up on that 1 to 7 scoring approach that I showed you on the previous slide? Remember, it's really important to back up your answers with context and examples. Demonstrate your experience to that interview panel of where you've delivered on what they're asking you in the question. Question 2 is a technical question. So describe a project plan you've developed and used to keep the team on track. So I won't answer this one, but what I'll ask you to do is consider how you would go about preparing. So you may never have worked in the project delivery profession if that's the role you're applying for, or even the policy profession or the HR profession, whatever it may be. But in preparing, what I want you to do is really review the technical frameworks that are available online. Get to grips with what the elements are that are being assessed and think about how you'd approach them, or think about how you've already approached them in the roles that you're doing. Remember, you can go into an interview with notes. Use those notes if you need them. Remember, preparation is key. So really, really important to review the role profile, the technical frameworks, whatever it needs to be. By preparing and really reviewing the role profile elements, we can really put ourselves in the strongest position to answer any questions that we may face as candidates. I hope that today's session has been useful. I wish you the very, very best of luck in your applications with the Department for Transport. I hope to meet you soon. All the best. Bye-bye.